Chosen One!
Welcome to The Chosen One. I'm your host, Qui-Gon Din, and today we got a special guest. We got Aegisbrand Studios in the house.
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I figured as a new content creator, I'd get one of the biggest content creators for AMG games. Figured I'd get you on the channel and just talk about general content creating.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. When you pitched the idea to me, I love the notion of it, and I don't. A lot of people don't talk about the content creation side of things, so it's I'm always kind of game for this sort of chat.
Yeah. So, what got you started in content creation, and how long have you been putting up these battle reports?
So what got me started actually just a little over 10 years ago. I actually started filming with the guys at Mini Wargaming, doing Warhammer 40K content. I started off doing a sort of like a guest a crusade campaign there, and that blew into a full-time job, and was there for just a little under a year before I decided to move on to something else. But after leaving that, I kind of always had that bug that I wanted to make some more content. I dabbled a little bit with like doing some painting videos and stuff like that, but it just didn't quite scratch the same itch. But when Marvel Crisis Protocol was announced, I thought this might be a nice time to jump into it, get in at the ground level for that one. So I started filming for that, and then immediately the COVID lockdowns hit. That was lovely. But just kept with it, and then figured when Shatterpoint was announced, it just seemed natural to kind of fall into that one, and been doing it since.
Yeah, the games are very similar in how they play, and I think it makes a gateway into Shatterpoint really good for the MCP players. I think they can pick up the game pretty quick. It's kind of hard picking up MCP from Shatterpoint because you have to get used to extracts. Like that's a whole nother tobacco. I'm
Yeah, I think what's great for going across the two systems though is that once you get used to the way AMG words their rules and how they structure everything, it makes it a little bit easier to jump between the two, I think.
that is the biggest thing about AMG is everything, even the punctuation in it is super literal. And like once you get used to it, it's great, but it definitely takes a bit getting used to.
Oh yeah, no, I've railed on some of the formatting of some of the rules a little bit. I would love nothing more to see some more clearly defined breaks in their clauses for if you do this, then you can do this, and then you can do this, and just to make it more clear that one is reliant on the other.
Well, they also need to spoil alert, they need to keep an eye on their new stuff that they released because they just introduced with Nasarai, they made an infinite combo possible now. With Nasarai
Yeah,
and General Kenobi. General Kenobi can now jump and heal unlimited times on the board.
yeah, that they're gonna have to nip that one in the bud. That's for sure.
I'm just like, well, I think this is an unintentional game state, but no, so what type of like setups do you do for your battle reports? Do you just have a preset matchups that you do, or do you end up going like through a poll or something, like off Patreon or whatnot?
So a lot of the time it's a lot more free form. I do have a Patreon where people are free to pitch ideas to me all the time, and we have taken a handful of the ideas and lists and stuff like that. But generally speaking, the first thing we always kind of look at when we're building our list, and this goes for both MCP and Shatterpoint, we'll take a look at what hasn't been featured for a little bit. We try not to push the same stuff out time after time after time. It gets a little tricky after a big update like we just had in May, where like we're super excited by all these Jedi now being playable. So we've seen a lot of Jedi since May. Uh, but we always try to cycle through things and try to feature as much as we can, all the while we'll not trying to like purposely build a bad list. We always try to build something interesting at the very least, if not functional.
Yeah, and I notice you guys tend to stay pretty casual with the lists too. I don't see you guys like doing a ton of min maxing just to make the most broken thing. Then again, Delta Squad, not Delta Squad, Inferno Squad when they came out, it was just hard not to make them broken.
Yeah, Inferno was an interesting problem because I did not enjoy the Inferno Squad play pattern. But the guy I film with, Alex, wonderful person to film with and game with, just a great all around guy. He's Empire through and through, so he was stoked to get Inferno Squad on the table, and it actually hit a point where they were just so efficient. He'd be sitting to me and looking at me between clips, going, "I'm so sorry, dude. Like I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry." So
Yeah,
yeah, Inferno was they were a weird challenge to meet.
I think August is going to be fun for you guys. I mean, we got 3 boxes getting released, so there's going to definitely be some interesting matchups to see, like Delta Squad versus some separatist stuff.
Well, not just that, but I think Nosari also brings some interesting stuff because he also has interactions with the Scoundrel tag, which is actually really good because I've been trying to eyeball the way to make sort of like a Cassian Dooku list work, and I think Nosari is that missing link that makes it work.
I think Dooku Cassian, I think Dooku Cad Bane is back on the menu with that piece. Like, I love that Nasari can move Dooku, move Cad, move Cassian. Um, you can also do some weird Rift Tamsin Cassian list where Baze and Turret can trigger uh Rift's up jumping attack ability. Like, there's I can't wait for that separatist box. It's the box I'm most excited about.
Yeah, it's one of the deepest friggin' cuts. But yeah, like when Rift Hanson's announced, I'm looking around the room. It's like, oh geez, a lot of people don't even know who the Shark Man is, and this is great.
I didn't know he
But yeah,
was like I had to go and watch the episodes and I'm like, oh, this guy is just Jaws, but Star Wars.
more or less. Yeah, so I'm very excited. The As soon as that stuff gets in my hands, I'm going to be getting it painted up as soon as humanly possible and getting it on the channel right away because I know both myself and Alex are very excited about all three of those boxes that are going to be hitting for us.
Yeah, I've been putting Jin on the table. I'm really liking Jin. I'm really excited for Delta Squad. Although I have one nitpick, AMG. You said at the panel at Adepticon that they were going to have clone commando synergies. No, they have Delta Squad synergies. My
You,
pawns does not get a buff.
you got to take everything Schick says with a grain of salt. I remember when Mini Strive came around and he was introducing Sandman for MCP and he started talking about construct grunts and just leaving everyone going, wait, what? They have both take? This makes no sense.
Yeah,
So.
like I am excited for that box though. I'm excited for Fixer. Kenobi fans get another hunker mechanic.
Yeah, Fixer is just a windmill slam into a Kenobi list, in my opinion. Like he's just so well suited for it.
Put him with May Sobi. That list now got Republic Commandos getting 3 hunkers in one turn. Clone Commandos are going to be super tanky.
Fair and balanced.
I think it'll be fine. Iden still
Oh
exists.
yeah.
She can remove hunkers. You got secondary crosshair as well. So like I think there's answers for it. But
Oh yeah, no, of course.
so how long does it take you to actually like record these battle reports? Because you always change the camera angles and everything, and then whatnot.
Yeah, so I film everything like I hold onto the camera. I don't have any sort of static camera angles that I use for this. Everything is directly in my hand. Uh, so the average clip is usually around 20 to 30 seconds. Sometimes, depending on the complexity, it can run long. And then there's always a little bit of downtime. Like what you see on screen is basically just after we have more or less made our decisions and we're ready to enact everything. What you guys don't see is the collaboration that happens between the two of us, between every action. Quite often we will sit down, we'll look at the table together, and we'll kind of go like, okay, what are the options available? And we both kind of play it out. And if it's my turn, I'll spitball what I'm thinking about doing, and sometimes Alex will pitch it and just kind of say, well, okay, hear me out. And what if you looked at it this way? And I'll do the same thing for him. So it's a very collaborative approach to it. which I think makes it a lot more interesting because it also avoids a lot of gotcha moments, which is probably one of like the biggest negative play experiences you can have in any sort of game. We try to avoid that a lot, so we always talk through a lot of what's going on, especially near the end of the game, where every action matters. So what that basically means is if we get started at say 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, usually we finish filming one game around maybe 3 o'clock. So 3 hours all said and done. We've had one game that lasted I think close to 6 hours, which was a wild time. Uh, but a lot of that just comes down to how much time are we taking between those clips, for everything. So I would say for every hour of footage, assume there's probably at least 2 to 2.5 hours of actual time it took for everything.
And then the follow-up question, what is it like editing that stuff? How long does it take you to edit it down to where you can get it to the concise gameplay that you have on your channel? I'm curious
Uh,
because like my brother and I are going to be starting recording games, and I figured who better to ask than the guy who's got a full channel of like hundreds of these battle reports.
yeah, okay. So this is actually something that I took away from my time with mini wargaming. Everything is actually filmed in a clip. It's not one long recording session, right? Like I'm not dealing with a 2 or 3 hour long video at the end of the day. What I'm actually doing is I'm filming this series of clips. So we'll get ready to go. I'll hit the record button. We'll complete everything. I'll stop the recording, and then we'll move on and continue on with that. So by doing it that way, it actually kind of does a lot of editing during the filming process. So I'll load in probably about like I don't know, maybe like 70 clips into my editor at the end of the day, and I already have those natural breaks, so I don't have to do a lot of editing down unless of course maybe I accidentally hit the button a little bit too late or something like that and I get some dead air or something. Every so often there might be a clip that sneaks in where you just see like a static image of my terrain shelf or something like that and you can hear us talking in the background, but I'm pretty good at catching those. So the editing process itself, when I have time, I like to add in all the visual graphics for like the rules and clarifications and all that sort of stuff. That usually takes me about an hour and a half to do if I'm getting all the graphics put in as well. 2 hours if I have to make some new ones for it. If I'm just bringing the clips in, putting in the like the in between round scores, that sort of stuff, maybe 45 minutes to edit one of those. And then get everything rendered, which probably about another half hour, 45 minutes, and then upload for the next 8 hours.
Yeah, the upload time on the channels is where it gets interesting, and then the rendering.
Yeah, well, I also film in 4K, so that really ups the upload time a lot, right? Like, so for anyone who is interested or has the capability, like everything is in 4K if they want to see it that.
Yeah, I think we're recording in 1080p. That's what our plan is. I'm not sure if my PC will handle 4K without blowing
Yeah,
up.
you know what? In all fairness, I think that's perfectly fine. I think I'm probably doing overkill by doing the 4K on that one. Um, you look at a lot of other battle reports out there, even by some of like the really big channels and whatnot, and very few of them are actually recording in 4K. Especially any of the channels who are doing live streams and then putting it up later. A lot of that's just in standard HD, and they're perfectly fine with that. And I think that is a perfectly good benchmark to have. I'm just an idiot and I like to do it in 4K.
Are you going to any conventions upcoming for like the GT season, or you just stay at home gamer?
Uh, so I am actually running. Well, I ran one Marvel Crisis Protocol GT for Canada, and I'm actually running a Shatterpoint GT next month on August 16th for Canada. And then I'm going to be participating in a couple myself that are just up the road from me. But as far as going to any conventions, unfortunately, due to and I won't go too deep into this, but due to the current state of international affairs and politics, for the next little while, I've decided I'm keeping it purely domestic. for the next little while. So I mean, if there's a Canadian thing available to me, I'm gonna try and jump at that one. But otherwise, I don't have a lot of travel planned, unfortunately, at the moment.
Yeah, other than like Adepticon, I got one that's in my home state. So it's like I'm going to the Evergreen Open, and I'd love to go to a lot more of them, but travel expenses is like the big thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, no, for sure.
like these gaming conventions aren't cheap.
No, no, they really aren't. Like I was really excited. 2024 was the first time I was ever actually able to hit up Adepticon, and the sticker shock at the end of it all really kind of floored me once I figured everything out. So that was a fun one.
2025 was my first year. Like this past season, First Worlds for Adepticon was my first, and I got so high on adrenaline with it, and then I like crashed like during day two, and I'm like, it was fun. Probably my favorite convention of my lifetime. It's
Oh yeah,
definitely I'm going again.
no,
So
an absolute blast.
in terms of like getting building your channel, do you find it hard to remain consistent, or like have you ever gone on any hiatuses and has it affected the channel in general? I'm at the point where I'm trying not to have a hiatus, so I have to come up with like a bunch of extra videos. I do short form content, so
Yeah, so that's a tricky one. Like early on, there it was a little spotty. I mean, my first year of doing Shatterpoint, I think I did maybe 18 battle reports for it. So when it launched, and I was fortunate enough that AMG actually sent me an early copy of the initial launch wave of it all. So I was able to start filming content a month before it actually hit shelves. Uh, I only did about 18 videos that particular segment simply because I was still kind of like feeling things out. Where was I? I almost burnt out hard in November of that year, actually, just because I was on a massive losing streak for it. And every time I was playing, I was getting my teeth handed to me. Uh, but otherwise, I try not to go too long without posting something. Every so often, I might miss a week here and there. Like for instance, about 2 years back, I had some medical stuff that caused me to miss a week or two, and just this past year, unfortunately, with the passing of my dog, I missed a couple weeks that way as well, just because I just did not have it in me to film during that time. But otherwise, I do a lot of week to week filming. Like a lot of the time, what you see is, at the very least, it was filmed that week. Unless I can, occasionally get that rare buffer of it up and film a couple games in a single day type thing.
yeah, the I've been on the I try to when I do my Unit 101 series, which is my short form content series for describing characters, the basics of characters, and like a starting point for people to come in and learn. I try to get two or three of them done a week, and I'll record them ahead of time and then just schedule them out. But the long form content is the games recording matches. I'm going to be recording the league that we're in for rogue support. It's kind of daunting on me because I've only done the podcast as long form content, which that's you record the podcast and then you just put it up. But the long games and editing it down is a little bit intimidating to say the least, as someone who has not done like super long form content like that.
Yeah, like I think what will happen is once you kind of find your groove with it, you find that it becomes a lot easier to do. I remember very early on when I was still editing using, like, I think it was like Microsoft Windows Movie Maker or something like that. My editing time was significantly longer because I was a lot less sure of what I was doing with it. But as I got used to everything, I got used to the format, I got used to what tools I made use of and all that sort of stuff. It brings that time down. And really, it's finding the time to actually get the filmed content out there as opposed to like editing it at this point. Like it's finding that time to actually record the game or get those people involved with it. But if you can get that done, like you'll find that it starts coming together a lot faster for you.
Yeah, like I think I'm gonna be recording the TTS games for the league, but I think me and my brother are gonna start doing the recorded game content after our GT when we have more time. Right now, we're just doing nonstop gaming and prepping for the Evergreen Open. It's my brother's first event, so uh, he has not done a big event for Shatterpoint yet, and it's also his first convention, so um, we're getting him prepared for that and getting everything set to go. And he's all in on Empire at this point, and he'll be talking about Empire on the podcast down the line when we get figured out. Like I trying to keep up my podcast and have to keep guests up because the format I chosen of choosing guests to come on every week and having it be different. It's been a little challenging. Not
Yeah, that's always a really challenging thing, is because like you're as a content creator, especially if you're a solo content creator, you're always beholden to the whims of those around you on who wants to participate, when are they available, that sort of stuff, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's like that's why I always try to get like two or three people lined up that way. Oh, I got like the next two episodes prepped. Like I did Aubrey had on him yesterday, so like he was my yesterday's episode, and this episode's gonna go up the next Sunday, and and I'm gonna be gone for camping all that week, and so I gotta come up with the backlog of videos to put up.
Yeah, and once you get that solid core of people who are willing to help you out and all that sort of stuff, it does become a lot easier. Like I am very fortunate that the guy I film Crisis Protocol with is a longtime friend. Troop and I have been friends since like 2003, I think it is. So we're 20-year friends and whatnot. And then for Shatterpoint, Alex is like I've known the kid for maybe about 3 years, but he is just so gung ho for this. So I'm always extremely grateful that I have these people around me in my community that are willing to take the time and do this filming with me. So as a result, I try to like toss things their way whenever I can. I think I've tossed like 3 or 4 different Empire boxes Alex's way, and bought some kits for Troop as a way to say thank you and all that sort of stuff, because they're taking the time out to help me out with it as well.
Yeah, it's like I always make sure to shout out the content creator. It's like the best. Always make sure to do that. But so when you go into these events, do you get people that recognize you and like say hi? Fans of the channel or just watchers in general?
Occasionally, it's like a lot the Ontario group with where I am in Southern Ontario, Canada. They all know me at this point, so like they know I do the channels and all that sort of stuff. So it's not really something that comes up and that's discussed. Every so often, some new players will enter into the community and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, you do the videos online? Okay, cool," which is really neat. The one that really blew my mind though was when I went to it for the first time, and I was just walking through towards the vendor hall, and this really nice gentleman stops me and is like, "Oh, hey, you're a Leland. You do the battle reports and all that sort of stuff." And thanks a lot. I have a lot of fun with them, and really nice gentleman. And it was kind of cool to get recognized that way. The one that really blows my mind though is every so often I'll get somebody who comes up to me and they will cite that they started watching me on my mini wargaming days. And I'm just thinking, oh, geez, that was 10 years ago. Good grief. Who even remembers that anymore?
See, like at the beginning of my Shatterpoint career, I got into watching your channel for battle reports and then Hello There's podcast, and that's part of where I like started on this journey. I was always interested in the game because it was a skirmish-based Star Wars game. I played WotC's Star Wars minis back in like 2009 the when they had the license. And man, was that game a broken mess because they never balanced anything. But no, it was like you and Hello there, or basically where I started with listening to content.
Yeah, yeah, that was actually very similar for me as well. Like, Hello There was very instrumental in kind of keeping me involved with the game while I was trying to find local people who wanted to play it with me. So, a lot of props out there, and I can't recommend them enough. And from there, I ended up finding other communities, which have been really solid and really great to be a part of and listen to. Like the Rogue Support, Zion's Finest, those guys are really great.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you're entered into the Fighting Pits League I saw for rogue support.
Wait, am I?
Oh, oh
Did
wait,
somebody enter me?
or
No, I don't. No, I did not enter. I flirted with the idea of it, but
okay.
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, I don't always have a lot of time in the evenings to do that sort of thing because like I am doing this on top of on top of a day job as well. So it's one of those things where there's only so much time in the day, and unfortunately, sometimes my hobby stuff has to be cut to make way for the stuff that actually pays the bills.
Okay, so you were flirting with the idea. Okay, I thought you
Yeah.
entered it in for a second. I guess I misread that on the Discord.
I might need to double check that. I got to make sure I didn't somehow get entered realizing it.
No, my first match is against Dizzard tomorrow morning, so like it'll be interesting. I ended up challenging him because it's like we can make challenges because it's Fight Club, and it'll be interesting. I may have walked into myself into a loss, but I don't know. I mean, he's pretty good at the game, so
Hey, you know what? A loss is just another learning experience, right? Like I value every single one of my losses because it usually teaches me something new, or it just makes me angry at my dice. It depends on the day. But no, it's always great. Like it's you play enough games and eventually like you learn to take something away from every game you play.
yeah, I went on like a 18 game losing streak against my brother earlier in the year. Like when he was playing Empire and everything before the balance pass, and I'm like, I took it and like I learned. It definitely like it impacted my Adepticon list. I'm like, yeah, I need to make sure I take something that can play in Empire, which is why I ended up taking Mandos and got me to day two at Worlds. So it worked out. And
Yeah, like I said, you learn something, right?
yeah, exactly. And now I'm on the Republic and Rebel train. Like I started the game with Republic. I've always kept up with the Republic. And the balance pass made my mace list just sing. I like mace. Mace is probably my favorite primary. You got a favorite primary at all?
Uh, Honestly, that one's a really hard one to say because I don't because of the way I film and play and whatnot. I'm bouncing between things all the time. I have had even before the balance pass. I always enjoyed playing Anakin. He was always a lot of fun for me, which I really liked. Um, but as far as like an actual primary, yeah, you know what? I don't know if there's one that is heads and tails above all the others that I will always reach for. Maybe Kanan.
Kanan's
And I
so
mean,
good.
I know he's a busted mess, but he is so much fun to play. He interacts with every facet of the game, and I think that is just makes it so much fun to play Kanan.
I agree with that statement. I think Kanan, if you're looking at an individual piece, he is the most busted character, like by far. Um, the thing that holds him back is list building.
It's the Spectre take, right? Like the discussion's been out there that Kanan will likely never be better than he currently is because we're not likely to see more Spectre hit
Well,
the table.
they said that before the balance pass, and then we saw what Andor does, and I'm like, yeah, Kanan just got better.
I I think Kanan became good in other ways. I think is what it came down to. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Yeah, the extra mobility from Cassian is absolutely bonkers, and he's probably going to usurp the most ubiquitous rebel primary in the game. I think because of that.
There's so many Cassian lists, and I love that. I'm just glad that Jin has a unique identity that isn't a freaking revenge trigger. Like, I'm tired of the Rebel revenge triggers because they have so many of them at this point, and Jin is completely different, and I love the way Jin plays. So
Yeah, I love that they're exploring the whole concept of momentum as a resource for the game.
love the
Uh,
momentum as a resource. I love that she has a tactic that can allow her to attack, and then she can dash after that attack. Like
yeah.
I it's so tempting because I'm like torn between two lists for rebels right now that I want to take, and one is Kanan, but I'm not taking. It's not Kanan. Is not the reason why I'm liking that list. It's Luke Skywalker, Jedi Luke Skywalker. I'm super high on him right now. Um, his buff with the bubble now being range
Yep.
5 is been insanely strong, and I've been loving his play patterns now. And it's like, do I take Luke Kanan or do I end up taking Jin with PLC? As I can't take them both because they both play a different Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. No, the list that I've actually been having a lot of fun with lately, and I feel this is a very lateral thing. It's actually Cassian, Boosh, and Han and Chewie with Asajj, Django, and who was the other one in there? Also, I can't remember who the supports are for the Asajj team.
Weequay
I want to say
Pirates?
the Weekway Pirates. I keep looking at. I think I actually got to try it out with the Weekway Pirates. I wasn't running them with the Weekways. I think the fourth thought is usually kind of, oh, it's fourth sister.
Oh,
It's been fourth sister.
she's
That's
so
what I've been
good.
running with that
She's
one.
so good. She's I think she's better than Fifth Brother now. I
I agree. That ranged attack is insane.
range attack, the force pull, the dashes off the expertise. She is like doing Lord Maul level stuff, but she's a support. I love it. Um,
She, she's wild, and I love it. Like she's such a good second or support at this point.
so who would be your favorite MCP character?
My favorite MCP character. Oh, good grief! You're giving me a list of 200 characters to pull from here, eh?
I have to
Ah,
I have to go with Dracula.
Dracula is a lot of fun. He interacts with a lot of parts of the game, which is really kind of good. Um, you know what? I gotta go with Fury Jr. I think Nick Fury Jr. he's everything I want in an MCP character. He's the leader of my preferred affiliation because I've been a Shield player through and through since he was released. I love what he does. I just think he's fantastic for that, even if he is getting a little left behind these days. But I will always enjoy a game of Fury Shield when I can get him on the table.
It's like all the people's gripes with Blade. They wish Blade was better.
Yeah, yeah. Blade could still use a little bit of a touch up. He still feels a little bit behind.
I haven't like played much MCP. I have like all of the Web Warriors. I got all the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I just every time I go to MCP, I end up just going back to Shatterpoint.
Nothing wrong with that, right? Like it's you play the game that you have the fun with, right? Don't play something you don't enjoy. That's awful. I watch people on at my local store's Warhammer night, and some of them just look miserable as they're stuck playing like a 3-hour game that was decided at the top of turn two. Like, why put yourself through that? Like,
Like, don't get me even
the,
don't get me started on Warhammer. I tried to get into it and I played a local tournament just to like learn. And even at this local tournament where nothing was really on the line, I got gate kept out of the community. Instead of people trying to help me learn Warhammer, they just curb stomp me and play like sweaty tryhards. And I got so turned off from the game that I have all this Warhammer stuff, but it's never getting built or played with.
I was a stalwart Warhammer player for 20 years, and their switch to 10th edition is finally what made me kind of go, nah, I'm out. Um, yeah, like I know I'm circling back to it a lot, but during my time filming content from Wargame, filmed like close to 150 games of Warhammer in about a 10-month period, uh, which was absolutely insane. So like I loved that game. It was my go-to for a long time, and it just they finally gave me a reason to kind of put it behind me, and I then just looked at the skirmish-based games and said, "Yeah, this is where I live now."
Yeah, I hear Spearhead for Age of Sigmar is good. Like that's probably where I would go next. That or Kill Team, but I'm not going. I'm not gonna put like 100 models on the table anytime soon. I'm sticking to skirmish.
Yeah, that's it respects your time a little bit more, and I like it. Also, like all the games that I play right now, I always come from it from the content creator perspective as well. It's like, okay, can I put this on the channel? Like, is there a way that I can film this and put it out there for the community? And I used to film some Warhammer content for my channel, and filming one of those games took like 6 hours, and I just do not want to do that.
And you did 150 of those?
So yeah, for mini wargame, I did close to 150 of them over the span of about 10 months or so.
You're insane.
Hey, it was a full time job, right? Like I was getting paid full time for it. I had access to the studio resources, but it also meant that I never played a game of it outside of work. Every game I played was always work, and outside of it, I just decompressed and did other things.
The, I don't think like as much as it would be fun to work for AMG. I don't think I ever could because it means I couldn't play in events, and I don't like that. Like when Amon left Hello There because he joined AMG, I'm like, oh, it's cool, but I don't get to hear from Amon anymore on Hello There, and the channel just hasn't been the same since. Like,
I mean, it's great that we're getting those other voices on there, and I think Jesse's done an excellent job bringing in other people to chat with him. So lots of props to that. Like he's got a
yeah,
really good
I
crew
love the
on
channel.
that.
I love the podcast. I love listening to their content, but I still miss them on sometimes. Like it's just like don't get to hear him anymore, and having him for almost 100 episodes, and then to have him not there anymore was still getting used to
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it's definitely a shift. Yeah. So
But still
and
good,
yeah, no, you're
still good content. But
yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The second the hobby becomes your job, you sort of it starts to look very different, and it can either really kill your passion for it or it can just like really reinvigorate it. And in my case, like it that was I think where my love of Warhammer started its true decline was when I left that job. So I'm really glad that that MCP and Shatterpoint came around to kind of keep me invested and engaged with tabletop gaming and content creation.
yeah, like I love all the Star Wars tabletop games. I played X-Wing, but again, my big passion was the skirmish space game Star Wars miniatures, and I didn't get into Imperial Assault, and I regret not getting into Imperial Assault because I hear that game was really fun. Um,
I have flirted with the idea of filming an Imperial Assault campaign because I actually have the full collection of, and it's something I've wanted to do. It's just trying to wrangle enough people to have a solid core of rebels and then a game master and all that sort of stuff. Very very tricky.
yeah, it's like, and then I dabbled in X-Wing. I never got in. The community for X-Wing was weird. Like every time AMG has their stream, the X-Wing community like invades the stream, blaming Shatterpoint for like their game, and I'm just like the community for X-Wing. I'll give them this; they are passionate.
Oh, for sure. But I think here's the reality of it, and a lot of X-Wing fans aren't going to like this. If X-Wing was selling, AMG and Asmodee wouldn't have kiboshed it.
They also the game is like what, like 12 years old. Um, they were at the point where they were re-releasing ships and as a new version.
Yeah.
I don't think it was sustainable. Um,
No, not only that, but a lot of the like when you did see new stuff, it was so deep into the weeds of Star Wars lore that the casual fan, which you need the casual people to come into this, they're not going to recognize it. Like when they released it for instance, the Outrider, I'm like, oh holy yeah, the Outrider, that's Dash Rendar, that's amazing. But I'm also a guy who grew up playing Shadows of the Empire on the N64, so I know what the Outriders Dash Rendar is. But he's not in any of the current Star Wars lore or anything like that. So outside of like the diehards, no, who's gonna get excited about this ship? It didn't appear in any movies or any of the shows or anything like that.
I'll tell you, if AMG starts running out of ideas for what to do with Shatterpoint, all they have to do is open up the Old Republic, and
Oh,
that
ah,
money pit right there. They'll be raking in the money. People want Revan, they want Malik. A
give
lot of
give me give me an HK-47 character. Give me a Bastella Sean. Give me a Mandalore. Carthonasi, he can sit on the bench. Nobody wants him.
it's what I liked about Star Wars miniatures. Star Wars miniatures got really into the weeds. They've got even like characters from Tales of the Jedi, Ulick Keldroma, and like Nomi Sunrider and everything. And they got super into the weeds of the game, and I loved it. But at the same time, stuff was so imbalanced in that game that that game was basically unplayable on a competitive level because they never balanced everything. It was power creep with every set, and it's a I love how AMG and a lot of these games now, you buy the box, you know what you're getting into it. The old style miniatures games like a decade ago, where it's random booster packs and you don't know what you're getting, um created one hell of a secondary market.
Yeah, the volatile nature of blind purchases is always a choice.
I'm so tempted to get into Star Wars Unlimited, but I just haven't. I'm so tempted. They released Revan in a Legacy of the Force set, and I'm like, it was close. I just don't play card games anymore. Ever since playing Shatterpoint, I don't play card games anymore. I'm just like, I'm done with cardboard.
Yep, yep. For me, that was the call I made about I think 19 years ago. No, no, that doesn't sound right. 15 years ago, I moved away from my card group, played Magic, and I just haven't really touched it since, and I'm happier for it.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Like, not with Magic. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh like super competitively, and that game just destroyed itself in terms of competition and game mechanics and stuff just changing so much. I'm like, nope. Uh, and I love how AMG does their balance passes. You don't have to worry about your stuff getting updated from month to month. Like
Yeah,
that's the other gripe I have with Warhammer is their point values change so often that I'm like, um, cool, I have to go buy new models now. And I don't I like that with Shatterpoint, I can buy the boxes I want and if they get updated, cool. I don't have to rebuy anything.
and even when they toned things down, like the stuff they toned down in May is still very playable. Hask is still very good. The Inferno Squadron themselves still very good,
Yeah, and
right? Like they're
I didn't get changed. She's still really good. Like the AMG has a good knack of not killing stuff when they nerf it. They still make it decent. They just tone it back because Hask pre-balance pass definitely was the main offender of that box.
oh 100% Hask was the problem in that box.
Them and Dark Troopers, it's just like, yeah, these guys are a little busted.
Yeah, I'm not sure how protection and immunity to pin can't be pushed. Great defensive dice and then getting crit mitigation on one success. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
I'm like, they're still hard to kill. Just having the immunity to pin is and protection is nuts because clones do not like that because you basically ignore one full step of their tree.
Oh, and it was even worse when it was the 501st and it was like their first step is just pin. Like
Right? 501st are my favorite clone support right now. Their
they
update has been so nice and
they are straight fire. Like they are great.
I take them over the ARFs now, which is
Yep.
like blasphemy, but
Two attacks with the 501st are averaging 7 damage and a pin. It's great. It really is. It's just fantastic.
yeah. I'm wondering if with them pushing up these releases, do you think they're gonna push up the Balin Skull and the Morgan Elspeth boxes?
I don't think so. If you look at their back end, it is so heavily saturated with Star Wars Legion stuff. Uh, I don't think that they are going to push the Balin Skull and Morgan Elspeth into that one for fear of maybe it getting lost in the reads. Because it also means then they potentially lose some strong early Q1, Q2 stales
I,
for
I
next year
I
as
think
well.
the earliest we see them is February. I think that's
Agreed.
because they generally don't do a release in January, and if they do, it usually gets pushed back to February because of shipping issues. I've noticed that like the last 2 years.
Yeah. No,
um,
I think you're absolutely right. I think February is the earliest we see them.
uh, and who knows when we're gonna get mini Strav? Um,
Ooh, I heard through the grapevine. I can't remember who it was that told me this, but we might be expecting it for like September or October. But yeah, I don't know.
I'd be down for that. Because otherwise, the next time we're gonna hear about any type of new stuff coming out, we'll be at Adepticon, and
Yeah, I was really hoping Mini Strav was going to be in July because the past couple Mini Stravs they've always had sort of like this cool little and we're just going to drop this. So
yeah, like
surprise everyone.
last year when they go Thrawn's coming, and everyone lost their shit. Like I freaking
They
loved it.
they also revealed Princess Leia Charming to the Last on May the 4th.
Yeah, they
You know, she
didn't.
was
They missed a
she
huge
wasn't
opportunity. They should have dropped the balance pass on May 4th.
yeah. That's just marketing 101, but I'm glad it happened regardless. But yeah, it's just unfortunate because I was hoping for some surprise drops for both of their game systems, but this year is just they've been so heavily invested in League, and rightly so. I mean, pretty much revamping. I think like 60 to 70% of the model line they're putting it into the hard plastic.
Which is a
Um,
good call. I have some of the old Legion stuff with the soft plastic, and it is hard to work with. Um, it's one of the
I'm
things that
I'm
kept me out of Legion.
I'm looking at adding Legion to the channel eventually, and I have a bunch of the older stuff, and I finally just made a decision to say, you know what? The new stuff is coming. I'm not going to bother with this old stuff, and I'm just going to hold off until all the new stuff is available and just kind of go from there because it's going to be nicer to work with. It's going to be nicer to look at. And, why not showcase cooler stuff?
Those starter sets are so tempting me to get into Legion. And then I learned I don't like massive army games, and that's like the big thing. I'm like, this probably game probably won't be for me, but those starter sets are insane value. And I'm like, I really kind of want to get the Republic starter set. It comes with like ARC troopers, it comes with like ARFs, it comes with all the clones and a ton of stuff.
Although, why didn't they give us Obi with his clone armor? That that is such a great look for Obi-Wan, and they didn't give it to us.
I know, like, eh, are you a fan? Have you watched the Gendy Tartakovsky 2003 Clone Wars, the Samurai Jack animator one?
All right, so I feel like you're getting me into a gotcha question here because I'm about to lose a whole bunch of nerd credit here. I've only caught like maybe one or two.
Do you
I've not
remember?
watched all of
So,
them.
do you remember Obi Wan with the mullet and the actual clone armor he wore with the
I
clone
do actually.
helmet and the Jedi robe outside of that? Do you,
S- Someone in the community made that, didn't they?
yeah, I think they did, but I want that Obi Wan, not the Clone Wars from Dave Filoni's clone armor Obi Wan. I want the OG Gendy Tartakovsky Obi Wan with the mullet, wearing the clone helmet and Phase One clone armor with the Jedi robe after it. Like it's a deep cut, and some people haven't seen the 2003 Clone Wars show, but the character designs for some of that stuff is like really sick.
Well, it basically guided a lot of the character design going into the Clone War, if I recall correctly. Like, there's a lot of similarities between all those character designs.
Yeah. We just it's sad we never got Dirge in Clone Wars for Dave Filoni. Dirge would have been he'd be cool to see on the table. Hopefully
Uh,
we got Delta Squad for Shatterpoint. There's a chance for Dirge. There's some they can do some deep cuts.
oh yeah. I mean, the fact that they announced Delta Squad and everyone who played the old Republic Commando game from the early 2000s were all instantly salivating. Like that was exciting when that announcement came.
I'm hyped. Like, and then now seeing them, I'm like, Boss is like he's like Darth Maul mixed with Iden. He gets extra attack dice for injured tokens. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's looking like a lot of fun.
And
Uh,
then yeah, I'm excited for all clone lists. I'm excited to see what I can do with that. I September is like the is it September or October? You think it's going to be the last Shatterpoint release? I know we're getting the unit pack for the Vader and Ahsoka 3 in
that's supposed to
September.
be end of. Oh, I thought that was end of August that we
That
were
comes
seeing
out
that one.
early September. I think it comes out September 8th. And then
Okay.
we still have a bunch of terrain that we have not seen yet. And I think we're
Yeah,
getting
like
4 more boxes of that.
yeah, I think we're supposed to see the first of the terrain boxes with This Is Rogue One, which hits early next month. But yeah, I wonder if we're going to be getting the rest of the for the rest of the year. It'd be nice to get something.
Yeah, I think we are getting because they announced that it is coming out this year. I think that's going to be the last thing we get for Shatterpoint, and then I'm expecting maybe a new mission in quarter 1 or 2 of next year, and then Balin Skull and Morgan Elspeth. But we have no idea what's left down the pipeline for that. Like we're only in year 2, and they said that this game is they have everything set up for like a 5-6 year timeline. So
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think you get the Star Wars license without getting a 5-year timeline. Uh, but yeah, that's I'm still holding out hope that we get to see like maybe a cool surprise drop that we weren't expecting.
yeah,
That's what I'm really holding out hope for.
I think mini extrav, if we get it in September, I think it'll be a big one. I think there's going to be a ton of stuff for them to show off.
My own conspiracy theory is that they didn't touch a lot of the separatist models because there's something we don't know that's coming. That's my
I
theory.
I hope so. Like I love that we got Sharkman, but where's my cyborg tarantula man? Where's Admiral Trench in the
Yes, yes. Thank you. I've been asking for Trench since day one.
Give me Trench with some commando droids, and then give me Newt Gunray with OOM9 and some destroyer droids. Like,
Give me Pong Krell, but give him the ability to choose like Separatist or Galactic Republic as his
yes,
tags, right?
yes, like deep. And then, but my most requested, I have 2 requested boxes. I want a Qui Gon Jinn box, 100%. I want Qui
Yes.
Gon Jinn. But the most requested box I want for AMG to do is in Star Wars miniatures. My favorite list to play is Gungans. Give me a Captain Tarpulse Jar Jar Binks with some Gungan warriors. Give me that box.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see it. I mean, they're willing to make Ewoks a box. Why not Gungans?
And they already kind of have stuff working for it. Aquatic tag synergies. And we got
Absolutely.
like, give me Jar Jar Binks. Give me a guy that runs around and if you attack him, he disarms and strains you. Like,
Somehow he has lockdown.
that'd be funny. I like no. If I were to design Jar Jar, he'd be like a 4-point support. His tree would be nothing but shoves, and then he does no damage. He would break ties, and then if you attack him, his defensive expertise is that you just get conditions. Like that'd be my mentality for like Jar Jar Binks. Is he's just a character that you have to you
Deal
condition
with.
yourself when you attack him.
Go one step further and give him like expendable distraction or something like that, so he's accidentally hurting his allies when he's attacking.
To expendable distraction and then ability, a reverse bodyguard where if he's next to allies, your opponent has to shoot Jar Jar.
Like,
There you go. AMG, we just
so dumb.
that'd be fun. But no, no. The any final thoughts? I me and my brother have been watching your content for a while, and we're getting into the battle reports. So it's like I appreciate you coming on, giving us some tips.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've always been a big believer in the community building aspect of this hobby. I think it all lives or dies based on how well we support each other. And that goes for people playing it, that goes for content creators as well. So I'm always happy to discuss this thing. I've had some people reach out to me. I won't name names just in case they don't want to be named or anything like that. But they've reached out to me, and they've asked me about how I go about creating the content that I do, what my hardware is, stuff, and I freely give all that information. I don't hide any of it behind it, and quite often that comment is the comment that comes after that. It's just, wow, like there's other people who would just not want to help, who they view as a potential competitor and everything like that. But my feeling is like the more people who get exposed to the games that we're playing, either through podcasts or video content, battle reports, or even just in your local game store, those are more people that are potentially playing the game with us. And that's the way that these games survive, right? Like we need to always be introduced blood. We need to be willing to have that community grow and expand it and get more eyes on it. So I'm always happy to discuss that aspect of the gaming community.
Yeah, like that. It's part of the reason why I had down. Like, I don't see a lot of content about the content creation itself, and I find it an extremely interesting avenue to look at for the community building. Is if people want to build content, reach out to people and figure out what type of content I you people are looking for. There's not a lot of short form content for Shatterpoint out there. There's a lot of battle reports, but there's not very much short form content. And that's where I started. That's where I'm like, I'm going to fill this niche that people were asking me about certain units and certain characters all the time when I was playing because I'm a big Mace player and I have people ask me like tips for Mace, and I'm like, I could just make a bunch of short form content videos about units in general, and that's where my Unit 101 series came from. Is not a lot of and people some people just don't have the time to watch an hour long video on podcasts or whatnot, and I'm like, short form content is something that I wanted to explore. Um, but I'm also
Absolutely.
wanting
No,
to but I also wanted to do the gameplay experience for like uh battle reports because that's something I haven't done yet.
yeah, no, and I find it very fulfilling. Like when you get your first comment on a video you've put together that says, hey, I had a lot of fun watching this. Thank you so much for making it. Like that made my day. The first time I got one of those comments, it makes my, and to this day, it still makes my day. The one thing I would definitely, the second you start looking into video content, is be ready to be told you're wrong on some stuff because it will happen.
Oh,
Um,
I had like no, I was doing my gin reveal box, right? And doing the like my first impressions video on it, and then me and my brother guy caught us out on an error, and I'm like, yeah, no, thank you for pointing out the error because that way I can clarify it later that we were wrong. I'm like
Yeah, nothing will teach you how to play the game better than recording your games, putting it out to the internet, and having somebody find every single thing wrong with it. I'm gonna actually give a special shout out right here to Godliness, uh, who uh, who watches all the videos, and I know I've done well when I don't get from him because there have been some videos where all of a sudden it's like, oh god, he's commented, he's still going. Oh no, when we his comments. But it's all stuff that's like, okay, hey, this is you got the timing wrong here. Like it works this way, it does this. And I can't thank him and other people who make those sort of comments enough because it makes me better at the game. It makes Alex better at the game. and it means that the content that I'm producing is better because we're going to get fewer rules errors. And let's be honest, Shatterpoint is a complicated rule set. Like you need to really sit down and read it to parse everything to understand it. So having a second set of eyes, third set of eyes, whatever, that will get in there and say, "Hey, great, but here's the actual timing. Here's how it worked. You should have done it this way." It's fantastic. Thank you for that.
Right? No, and I also shout out the Godliness. He's the one who knocked me out of the worlds, so I'll give him a
Oh well, then
special.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's been awesome for that sort of stuff, and I've become a better player because once I got past my indignant, oh, why are you correcting me? I'm the once I got past that and I actually started reading what stuff. This is all very well thought out and called out, and great.
yeah,
Leave your ego behind.
I'm all for constructive criticism when it comes to the game. It's just like as long as you're not saying, "Oh, you're just playing a bad list." I'm like, no, if it's constructive criticism, I all welcome it. Like if I get a comment on my channel saying you need to, you're wrong on this because of such and such, you got the rule wrong. I'm all for it. Like it helps me get better as a player, and
Yep.
like building the online community because I don't have a local play community. Like my brother is my community for Shatterpoint. It's the only games I get to play. We don't have a local scene, so the only times I get to play outside of playing with my brother is playing with going to events. And it's why I'm like addicted. I have to go to Adepticon. I have to go again. It's at this point. It's I gotta play Shatterpoint while the game's not dead.
Well, it seems to be doing well. Like it's still very regionalized with pockets all over the place, but I mean we've seen growth year over year, and hopefully we can keep seeing that going forward.
Oh yeah, I think like once they just need to release Yoda and Palpatine, and I think they'll get a bunch of people happy. Like,
Well, you see, that's their panic button, right? That as soon as sales start to slump, that's when they slam the Yoda button.
well, didn't they take Palpatine out of Legion for some
They did, and
reason?
they were yeah. There was a lot of hazy language around it. Sounds like it was more of a Lucas decision than an AMG decision, but even that is you can't really say definitively that's the case.
It's so
So
weird just to take a piece out of the game. I mean, I know Warhammer does it when their characters technically die off in the story, but
yeah, but it's never fun to have your toys taken away.
I 100% agree. It's why I don't like ban. It's why I stopped playing card games. I do not like ban lists or rotation. I don't. I don't like to. I can't play my toys at full power, or they're just too old. I'm like, no. I want to. I like the freedom of playing what I want to play with. Like, I hope the AMG like introduces a format at like one of these Adepticons where they remove the era restriction and you could just play whatever you want. I want.
The
I want.
legacy format.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of broken mess Shatterpoint becomes if they remove the era limitation.
That would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting.
Well, thank you for coming on. If you got any final thoughts or questions for me, I appreciate you
Uh,
coming on big time.
so for final thoughts, if you want to get into your own content creation, especially video content, filming, whatnot, I would say don't stress too hard about the equipment off the top. If there's anything to focus on, first off is lighting and audio. If you have solid lighting, I'm not even going to say great light, solid lighting, and a cheap 30 $40 lav mic that can plug into your phone, you have everything you need to film your own battle reports right off the hop. And get into it first and let the more expensive hardware come down the road.
Excellent, excellent advice. I started my first podcast was with a potato mic, and I regret like my first 3 episodes using that setup, but having good audio quality is huge. and
Yeah.
good video
Yeah,
quality. Like,
yeah, like when I started off, I was just using like a Sony hand cam. I didn't have any like terrible lighting, and you can see it. I mean, you can go back to my season of MCP content, and you can see everything's really muddy. The audio is very tinny, all that sort of stuff. Um, but going along, yeah, the improving the lighting, improving the audio, those were the two biggest things I think that really started allowing me to get more traction. People were actually enjoying the content a lot more at that point.
yeah, and if you don't have the resources, start small. If your quality isn't like up to snuff right off the bat, you can still create content creation and work at it and improve it as you go. You'll build your audience with you, and they'll grow with your channel. So, like,
Absolutely.
but yeah, no, thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again at some point. Hopefully, I can catch you at a Adepticon or some event down in the future.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, thank you for having me on. It was a great chat. We meandered around a bit, and that
Oh yeah, I tend to keep my show pretty casual.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was a good chat.
All right, thank you. Yeah, this has been the Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to Aegisbrand Studios on YouTube. Very good channel for battle reports. Thank you for watching this episode of The Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. If you want to catch the next video, you can watch the one linked above, or you can just go and listen to the podcast on the playlist below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.